Okay, guys, I think that we're live. Yeah. Okay, you're just gonna hear some rustling, though. Just moving some things around. Okay. Oh, shoot. Dang it. Okay. Hello, everybody. Cool. So, nice. We got some regular here already. I know that I didn't really have like a big lead up time. I need to work on doing that. Yes, I did. I did get the UI fix mod. We're gonna keep playing as the Aryan Brotherhood today because I want to start finishing this as quickly as possible because the new order is actually gonna update later today. So basically, I can't go online until I finish this now because I went offline, so it won't update. Don't worry, guys. A lot of the aesthetics are still there. You see, it's just easier on my eyes. Nice clean desk. Clean's a relative term, isn't it? It was actually some other things that I was moving around, but I'm trying to find some stuff and I can't. Wait a minute. I know where it is. Hold on. Oh, there it is. Okay. So I'll work on that later today. So yeah, the stuff that you heard me moving around, basically I had one of those. You ever had those moments where you're doing something and then it just like you just remember something else completely unrelated, and I basically just remembered where I'd put some Christmas ornaments of mine, and then I checked and they weren't there. And even though, because I've been trying to find them, and then right now, then I really remembered where they were, and I just grabbed them. But hello everybody, we got, wow, Gluzman, Bomber Monkey, Zach, Fifth Crusade, Accent Man, Christopher Polanski, good to see you, Crane, and more. A lot of great people here on very short notice. So anyway, let's not talk anymore. Let's just get into it. 5-speed, baby. Oh yeah, we're in the middle of a war. Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah, we are the Purified Aryan Brotherhood, and that's right. We were at war with Finland. Oh man, things are going bad for you, Angel. I'm sorry to hear that. You hate to see that happen in the most wonderful time during the most wonderful time of the year, as they say. Okay, so yeah, that's right. We were locked into this thing with Finland. And I was debating whether I wanted to bother integrating this stuff. I just hate all the stability losses. I really do. So, but we can't do any other stuff because I'm not at peace. So I think what maybe we're going to do is actually just go back and get the ceasefire. You know what? I'm sure we could beat Finland, but the new order being updated has forced my hand. So we're going to have to load up that save file. So give me a second here. We're just gonna do that. I've also been sorting things out. The OBS software has been really acting up with me lately. I had to like change some things earlier today, so if there's like audio problems or something, please let me know ASAP. Terrorizing munitions. Where was the Finland thing? I'm trying to find. I'm going through my save files because I've got some save files in here right now that are going to spoil some things for a campaign I'm working on, so that's why I'm in the transition screen at the moment. Okay, there we go, we're good. Okay, so yeah, we're just gonna reshape some history, just whoop 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 whoop. So unfortunately we're not gonna get a huge chunk of Finland, but we got to get this series rolling, and it's gonna take too much time for such a small thing. COVID is fucking up your work-life balance. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, man. Hello, Daniel. Had some ribs for dinner, drinking some green tea and chilling. That sounds great. CHG, have you heard of the Cold Southern Springs? It's a sub-mod of TNO focusing on the lore and focus trees for South American countries. No, I've not, but I would not be able to get to that for a little bit. So basically, okay, here's what's gonna happen. We're gonna accept the ceasefire from Finland here. Guzman says he didn't complain when it's me spamming the chat. Well, I guess I just haven't had an issue with it, I guess. We also should hopefully be moving a little bit faster. There might be some conflict because the UI change, but yeah, basically we're gonna, long story short, it should be moving faster. You probably have already noticed a little bit there. Northern War is bogged down to a stalemate. Finns will cut loose their erstwhile allies in Onega. I've heard that Onega is the most difficult of the Russian warlord nations. Of course, I have not researched too much into it, but what I basically hear are the hardest ones are Onega, because you're basically just there to be annoying. You're not actually meant to be a viable country. Hold on a sec. Who do we want to attack? Maybe the gun people? I don't know. But I hear the tough ones are Onega, because you're not meant to expand. The other ones are... Oh, hold on. Okay, time to execute the traitors. Of course, somebody's calling me as soon as I start streaming. Oh, that's a telemarketer, so go away. Russian or Finn, it does not matter. A subhuman is a subhuman, so we're going to lose 320 manpower right now. But we're working on the focus tree, and that's the important thing. Logistically, we're still pretty short on infantry equipment, right? Or no, actually we're okay there, but maybe we need a little bit, just one more in anti-tank. That's it, just the one. We're not going any more than that. We're not going to trade rubber because we're using up all of our civilian factories right now. Yeah, I know, Rectangle. It's going to kill all saves. So I've gone offline on Steam, so it shouldn't update for me. So I'm going to stay offline on Steam until I'm done with this campaign, and I'm also pre-recording the New Order campaign. So my goal is to spend today and then hopefully also tomorrow finishing that. So anyway, the Cold Southern Springs, I probably wouldn't get to that for a little while because I've got 2 other the New Order campaigns I got to do, not to mention other stuff that's not the New Order that I want to take care of. Oh yeah, so anyway, the hardest trees I have heard... Wait, hold on a sec. Revitalize national service programs. What's that? Oh, it's regional development. Okay, we're definitely never taking that. And investing in construction, it actually increases our GDP, but who cares, right? Just print money if there's a problem. Okay. So Onega here is the hardest. I hear the Divine Mandate of Serbia is a good nation, but the thing that makes it so hard is you basically miss the first year and a half of the game. So you've got to then play catch-up from there. So that makes that very hard as well. Amur is supposed to also be quite hard. That's another Eastern Siberian area. The half-breeds demonstrated the cowardly behavior inherited in tainted and inferior bloodlines. We must confiscate all Finnish weaponry that remains in our reclaimed territory. So we'll get some guns, which is, you know, nice. Nice to have. Guns are good. Aryan Brotherhood, I've also heard, is very, very hard. Guzman, I'm good. I always want to have positive chat interactions with everybody. So, yeah, the Aryan Brotherhood. And again, this is just for me seeing what people are generally talking about online. Is, people say the Aryan Brotherhood is difficult mostly because of the coring. So you lack manpower. Like, you know, you're a Russian state that lacks manpower. It's crazy, right? Insane! Of Serbia. Oh yeah, you're right. The Divine Mandate of Serbia is something else entirely. That was called Tito's Yugoslavia. BAM! Okay. Yeah, I think the UI looks much better. And, you know, guys, like, it's the holidays. I'm working at the postal office. I just stare at things all day long. It strains my eyes so much. This might sound weird, but with, like, the font that we use mostly, It's actually sometimes, once I'm like 10 hours into a work shift, it gets a little bit difficult for me to discern between 5s, 6s, and 8s. So I got the UI change. I need it for my eyes, guys. Just period. Like, unironically, I'm going to get my eyes checked come January. Make sure that I haven't ruined them more or something. I've actually got both my pairs of glasses on right here in front of me. Not on, but let's see. Which one do I want to wear right now? You know what? Let's wear the plainer ones. Let's wear just the solid black Astur ones. What is this? The accent man says, believe it or not, oh, Indonesian war! Huh! Yeah! What is it good for? Breaking the co-prosperity sphere. Okay, hold on. First, let me read this accent man thing. CHG, believe it or not, but I'm a writer in CSS. The lead dev gave me the job to make the lore and focus tree for Bolivia because I'm Bolivian, and I know better than anyone Bolivia's history. Oh, that's very cool. Good luck to you and everybody else on that submod team. Always in favor of seeing good content. I think you might just need glasses. I do have glasses, whack. I do. You know, my eyes can still get strained. Okay, so beside the Crooked Cross, with our expected victories and triumphs against our lessers throughout the west of Russia, it is becoming more and more clear that we are beginning to attain the greatness of the Aryan. Despite our struggles, oh, Ho Chi Minh died, very sad. Despite our struggles and the measure that we had to take to maneuver ourselves into the position that we now, probably supposed to say that we are in now. The recent conquests and achievements that we have attained have made it clear to all but the most ignorant peasant Slavs under our heels. We are true Aryans. If this was not true, then how was our victory over the hordes of Tsarist collaborators and communists made possible? As true Aryans, we can finally place ourselves beside the hooked cross as equals to the German who, in their infinite wisdom, rampaged through Russia and enlightened our wise few to our true calling. Okay, looks like we've got some decisions available here. Yeah, the integration stuff I know, but how about other stuff that's, good? Let's see. But seriously, okay. What kind of development do we need to work on down here? Everything's improving already, which is very good. Oh, you know what? We've got to do something about this poverty rate. Or did we already too recently do something so it's not gonna... Oh, save up for the factory. That's what I want to do. The Brotherhood needs blood. The future of the Aryan race depends on renewal. As the weeks go by, the Führer knows. The Untermensch become complacent and arrogant, descending into degeneracy and Jewry as the older brothers fail to beat them hard enough. As its control over the Reich slips, the Brotherhood must restore itself through blood, by organizing another rite of ascension, bringing into the fold new men to induct into the Aryan race. We shall cause the Untermensch to cower in terror and solidify our own power. To fail to participate in this periodic renewal will see us weaken further, inevitably succumbing in the future at the hands of our Aryan betters. The ascension shall be a violent one. To complete it, hundreds of men, women, and children of the Slavic race must be killed by our inducted brothers. Their cries of pain and fear, the misery of weakness and death, can only be borne by the most ruthless murderers we find. Those who fail the task will die in turn. We nourish the soil with degenerate blood. Okay, so then are we going to get the opportunity to do the thing? Moderately increases GDP. Huh. Okay. National service programs. Integrating into acquired territories. Why is it telling me to take some of these when I don't have them highlighted? Or no, that's when I come over here or something? Yeah, it says that they're possible to take, but okay, I get it now. I get it. So Russian reunification. We'll have to control all the Western Siberian states, which we don't. That's, not yet. Exert influence in the southern Urals. So we'll be able to do that soon. Prepare for war. So we got like 4 years to do this. Get the instructors. Why though? Oh yeah, because the instructors give me the that gives me the manpower. Oh no. Army professionalism will begin to improve. That's a good idea actually, because if we can, right now we just have reluctant conscripts. So yeah, if we can get more professional will be better, you know. And I guess logistically I'm kind of better because I've been capturing a lot of equipment. So yeah, I have more equipment than I need right now, and it's not as if I have manpower to train more divisions. So you're completely right, Crane. You're completely right. We are going to hire the foreign instructors. Plus we'll be able to... oh yeah, we already got the 20 widths going here, don't we? So we got artillery, reconnaissance... What's the next war going to be? Probably against the Western Siberians area. So it sounds like we're going to influence the Ural areas. So I'm not sure. Let's just kind of try to cover a lot of our bases here. Right. Done! Done, 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 done. So we should have a new tree pop up, yes? Or I think that we're going to have like a decision to exert influence, or immediate important political matters are resolved. Maybe we have to wait till midnight. There we go. A new realm of Aryans. There was a knock at the door. Guttram Wagner rushed to open it. Standing behind the door was a postman. Hey, that's me, holding a large cardboard tube. A delivery for you, mein Führer? Yes, I've got it. Now piss off, Wagner snarled as he almost tore the package out of the postman's hand. He slammed the door to his office shut, sealing himself from the outside world. His generals and counselors, with their incessant updates and questions, would have to wait. He had been patient for weeks, and now his commission was finally here. He removed the cap from the tube and pulled out the rolled-up paper it contained. He hurried over to his table and unfurled it to take in its full magnificence. Well, that is beautiful. He was looking down at a newly commissioned map of the Aryan Brotherhood's realm. The cartographers had delivered a beautiful piece of work. He made it clear they would have to. He struggled to believe that the massive territory that stretched from Urzangel to Kazakhstan had started from almost nothing, just a tiny scrap of land around the bombed-out ruins of Perm. Of course, his racist superiority had meant this conquest was inevitable. But gazing down at the map, seeing the Brotherhood standing proud next to Germany and her colonies... That's a little awkward. It made him realize that the huge odds he had triumphed against to build a pure nation in such chaotic and impure land. Oh gosh, thank you. That's a good one, some Frenchie the Aviator's joke. He couldn't help but smile. Somehow he was sure the great Führer was looking down on him with pride. He glanced to the eastern side of the map, past the Urals. There were no nations shown there, just a black area labeled Die Slawic Anarchy, which I think means the Slavic Anarchy. There was still work to be done. Russia was not yet cleansed or safe for his people, but the Brotherhood had proved the Aryan race is unstoppable. They would not rest as long as there was a single subhuman staining the land of old Russia. A storm is coming to the east. And, did we just not get that 15% stability? You guys saw that, right? We were at 7%, and we're still at 7% after I took the event. Like, was I... Okay, my eyes don't hurt that bad. They're good now because the UI, but you guys saw it, right? Okay, the Aryan race is triumphant. Fine, we got screwed. Nuts and bolts, that's how it is. But we're a tiny minority of Aryans ruling over a huge majority of Slavic Untermensch who would like nothing more than to overthrow our young nation. We'll have to impose a code of laws. It'll make it easier to administer the vast territory we control with the efficiency and ruthlessness that define our race. We are unequaled rulers, truly the rightful masters of the earth. Well, at least they'll get us some quick stuff here. Okay. So, we got regional development. Can't purchase any equipment right now. Don't have manpower. I don't know. I would imagine it's going to be a while before we could do the Hyperborea thing. The Clash of the Gods. Ah. The time has come. Okay, so it looks like down here, after we do this, then we can go into the Southern Urals. Okay, so it's... Okay, they're 25 days each, admittedly, so it's not going to take forever. But let's kind of round this up to a month. So it's going to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Wait, no, hold on a second. Wait. Did that wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Let's call that 1 year, 2 years, and then this down here. So we're looking at late 1967, maybe early 1968, before the Hyperborea thing. Well, if that's going to be the case, we probably should actually start It's gonna take a freaking year. Each though. And it always costs us political power when we do it, and it hurts my stability. I just hate it. Okay, we don't have the political power right now anyway. We're about to get 75, so in theory that should let us do 3 things. Now, I don't think there's anything that says we can't integrate more than 1 at a time. So I guess we'll just start as soon as we're done with the current focus. Unless, let me kind of look through here, see if there's anything that's going to... Okay, we got administrative strain. What's that? Non-Aryan, willing labor force. Wait, what's going on here? Sunsets on the SS. Yeah, okay, whatever. Willing labor force, arsenal. Overextended administration. This is what's hurting our recruitable population factor. Okay. So we might do purity of the race first. Yeah, reduces strain. We got academic stuff here. Security service. Ooh, that gains me political power. Huh. Okay. I hear that Japan doesn't have much content, but there's like this crime drama or whatever that takes place in it. That's fun, so that's why people play it. Expand the definition of Aryan. Oh, the Ural military district just won a war. So it's now just Westerflat. Looks like they're... So I guess they're going to be the ones who end up uniting this area. Yeah, so anyway, I think expanding the definition is probably how you go Hyperborea. And there are too many of the Untermensch to be enslaved, not enough to serve as masters. Long is the way and hard. Yeah, you know, the way is what I call my... Anyway. So, yeah, I would imagine that these 2 things on the left are probably what leads to Hyperborea, which is funny because then this guy's on the right. Okay, seems pretty straightforward then. Administrative strain. We're going to get a modifier, the Aryan Slav. I'm just trying to see if there's something that's going to help with our coring so that we could rush for that first. Maximum production. The issue of slave. It doesn't look like it. Huh. If I do Bolivia, maybe, you know, I'll have to take a look at the various ones, but sure, why not do Bolivia? I don't think I've ever done a Bolivia playthrough in any. Oh shoot! Ah, hold on! Oh no, what did I just do? Oh no. Okay, we're fine. Okay, sorry, little slip of the cursor there. Wagner, Vasily, Yudanchin, Max Gretchen, and then what's this little red here? Authoritarian socialism under Konnev? What? Like the Konnev? It can't be. Hold on a second. I need to look this up. Oops, shoot. No, I'm thinking of Ivan Konnev. Okay, this is the person who's in charge of the socialists here is Constantine Konnev. Different Konnev. Because I was thinking, like, wouldn't Konnev, like, he's a big enough figure, he'd just be his own guy or whatever. Yeah. For those of you who don't know, Ivan Konnev was basically the guy who replaced Zhukov. And probably his most famous act was he was the one who suppressed the Hungarian Revolution, which led to the blood in the water match. Right? Hold on, let me look that up. Let me double check that. Blood in the water. Hold on a sec. Blood in the water match. No, I'm not looking for the Attica thing. Yeah. 1956 Olympics. So, funny story. I'm going to tell a little story, which is slightly, I guess you could say, self-aggrandizing, but it's about the blood. The blood in the water thing is related. which is why I thought of this story. Hold on, devil's in the details. For the last fucking time, I don't give a shit about hair color. I have dark hair, and I'm more Aryan than any of you snakes. But I heard the Germans believe you aren't a real Aryan unless you're blonde. Are you seriously suggesting the Germans are that stupid? Because that's borderline treason if you are. I have half a mind to execute you right now if you don't shut up. This sort of arguing had become common among the Brotherhood's leadership in recent days, with Western Russia finally united under Aryan leadership. The time has come to answer several unsettled questions about the Brotherhood's laws. The most important and most divisive of these issues is the official racial policy of the Brotherhood. Behind the simple goal of establishing... The simple goal of reestablishing Aryan supremacy lurks a complex web of intricacies that have divided the Brotherhood into competing factions. It seems every officer has their own answer for how the Brotherhood should formally define and divide the races, and any plan other than their own is a betrayal of Aryanism and a Slavic plot. Screaming matches and even brawls have occurred over everything from the legal status of half-Aryans to the different shapes of Untermensch skulls. Führer Wagner had become increasingly agitated as he has watched this infighting during the Brotherhood to bring the Brotherhood to a grinding halt. To finally resolve the issue, he has announced he will form a council that will formally define the racial castes of Russia. The Führer will head this council himself, but it will include several other important figures in the Brotherhood, most notably Siegfried Schultz. Schultz has become the leader of a faction advocating for an expanded definition of Aryanism that he claims would act as a safeguard against instability and provide a necessary boost to Brotherhood membership. The Führer is personally repulsed by his ideas, but his supporters are too significant to ignore any longer. When the council assembles in a few weeks' time, every faction will have a chance to make their case, but only one faction can prevail. Alright, so I think it doesn't... Like, do I particularly actually care which direction I want to go in? Like, to the right is, more... You know what, let's go for the blood, because we're going to get that political power gain faster. Although, wait, security law to security service. What's our current security law, though? Am I actually going to get a bonus off of that? We have police. Okay, police do not give me political power bonuses. So we're going to go for the blood, then. The sooner the better. We'll have to outline the castes. Oh. Ivan Konnev is a general in Tiomin. He's also security marshal for Kagnovec. Uh-huh. Yeah. National Socialism's not a phase, Mom. Cogner, probably. That's good. That's funny. You guys are funny. Anyway, so the blood in the water match. So once I was fortunate enough to be selected to do a presentation of a research paper I had done at a conference. Hold on a second here. Let's prioritize our military stuff here. It also helps with our industrial equipment stuff, in case anybody's saying, like, is it really worth it to just get one military factory anymore? Oh, shoot, I actually should have spent that. So what we're going to start doing then, because this is going to take 2 more years anyway, we're going to go ahead and start integrating these areas, although I just very foolishly, you know, spent 75 when I could have been doing 3 things at the same time. Anyway, so I got to present at this conference, and the top 3 winners of the conference, besides being able to say that they got the top 3, we're also going to get cash prizes. And so one of the presenters, I think he was actually the first one up that day, he was doing his paper / presentation, I guess you could say, was on the 1956 Melbourne Olympics, specifically the controversy surrounding the Hungarian Revolution of 1956 that was going on. And then, like, I guess you can kind of say the centerpiece of the the main event was about the so-called blood in the water match. So what that is referring to is a water polo match, which is like not a sports thing you think of very often, between Hungary and the USSR. And oh, gun alert! What happened? Oh, Fortune and Glory, thank you very much for your generous donation. Ooh, that's a pretty color. The way your profile picture color and the super chat color works together, that kind of works nice anyway. So Fortune and Glory, love the name. He says, or she says, happy Festivus and thanks for the 2020 videos. I know you say no politics, but here's hoping the world gets its border closures sorted out in the new year and people can actually have a more normal experience in 2021. Well, I think that we all can agree, whether you're left, right, center, up, down, or whatever, that we all want better things in the new year. Of course, because people have differences, people will disagree on what that entails. But, you know, whatever. Anyway, so Sverdlov has united Western Siberia, so it looks like we now have the Ural military district here set up. But thank you very much for your donation. Greatly, greatly appreciated. And you know what, actually, speaking of income through YouTube, quick digression to my digression. I did get paid today, actually, by Google. You know, by YouTube, essentially, which was early. Usually they don't pay until a little later in the month, but I guess they want to get it out early for Christmas. And the November income on this channel, was almost 4 times as much as my October income. Obviously, that's thanks to you guys. I don't know how to say it without sounding egotistical, but obviously it has something to do with me, and I was trying to put out better content. But I think it's a good, it is a quantifiable reflection, I think, of the channel moving in a positive direction. More people are watching it. More people are being engaged. I've been seeing a lot of regulars here in my live streams, more and more so. Like, I've always had regulars, but like that number of the regulars is growing, which I'm very, very happy about. You know what's kind of funny is I haven't hit 25,000 subscribers yet, which some of you have probably noticed, especially because I made a community thing about it a few days ago. And actually, my subscriber count has gone down since then. But I've been noticing, even though my subscriber count has been going down, or like it kind of hovers in this weird area all year, my views are up, engagement is up. Like when all the analysis that I look at, everything is up. So we're getting higher quality subscribers, which I'm very, very happy about. So just thank you all for what you've done. You know, the live streams, Super Chat has been a lot more active lately. Of course, we do, I'm sure we all remember there have been a couple of huge donations that have happened, but like generally speaking, even people just putting in a couple bucks, again, that's, I don't, it's not about the money. Like, I have a job in the real world. I'm not going to starve if you guys don't donate to me towards Super Chat, but that Super Chat money does go back to the channel. It goes back to, you know, and it shows me that, like, hey, this is worth investing your time into in a positive way. So just thank you all very much for that. And hopefully in 2020, the channel's going to keep getting stronger. It's going to get better. I'm going to try to re-diversify again. I know I've been mostly focusing on Hearts of Iron 4 lately, but we're going to try to get some more good stuff in there too. Rational debate. And lastly, I don't know if you and your thugs are Slavs, traitors, or just cowards. Okay, after this event, I will, oh, thank you very much, NPC Porky. That is a, yeah, I know, I recognize you. I've seen you around, because you have a very unique profile picture and name. And I truly mean that, no sarcasm. I don't know if that's like a thing, but I've not seen it before. So, right into that cognac glass. So let's read the event, and then I'll talk about the blood in the water thing. There's the alert. I don't know what is up with these alerts. Sometimes they happen instantly when the super chat happens. Sometimes like they take a minute. I guess it has to do with the software or whatever processing it. I don't know if you and your thugs are Slavs, traitors, or just cowards, Wagner roared at the man across the table. But I know you are weaklings, and I want to see the Aryan race weakened with you. And you want to see, and you want to see the Aryan race weakened with you. That's very different. Schultz stared back at him. He had hardly spoken all night, but somehow that silence was louder than all the Fuhrer's shouting. Wagner paused his triad to catch his breath, and Schultz seized the opportunity. So Schultz is the guy we've had a lot of events about already. I'm sure you guys remember him. I'm not going to review him. My Fuhrer, I am no coward. I am a proud servant of the Brotherhood. But before all else, I serve the Aryan race, and the Brotherhood is failing them. Right now, there are millions of Aryans in Russia who would make exemplary members of the Brotherhood, but they are enslaved. You have labeled them Untermensch because they failed to meet some arbitrary standard you set years ago. It shows strength and wisdom to admit you were mistaken, and yet you refuse to. If there is a coward in this room, it is you. For the first time this evening, Wagner was speechless. He had entered the room confident of his victory. He had expected the council to be a mere formality, a chance to berate his advisors for their squabbling before they all fell in line. Instead, he had watched the tide turn against him. The more Schultz spoke, the more men seated at the table seemed intrigued by his promises of an Aryan majority within a generation and an end to the slave unrest. Even some of Wagner's closest allies were struggling to hide the doubt on their faces. And now this upstart had the balls to call his own Fuhrer a coward? Wagner could see he was still held some support in the room. If he acted now, before Schultz could tip the scales any further, he might still prevail. I recommend you be more careful who you call a coward, he said. I don't care how many of the boys like you. I won't tolerate another slip-up. He turned to address the rest of the counselors. Now I say we settle this the only way that seems fair. A vote. We're going to say Schultz and the Saviors win. Freedom for all Aryans. Although I am going to make a save file, so we're going to have to go to the transition thing for a second. Sorry, guys. Sorry. This is also just in case I ever want to make a guide for people or whatever. Rational debate. More like a rash, R-A-S-H debate. Rational. Yuck. I'm so sorry. Okay, AB Russia. Rational debate. Path choice. Okay. It's because I don't want to see you guys get spoiled for the other TNO thing that I'm doing. Okay, thank you for your patience. Schultz and the Saviors win. Freedom for all Aryans. Okay. So yeah, we're going to head towards the blood. So we have two goals for the Brotherhood. Defend the Aryan race's purity, guarantee the survival of the Aryan bloodline as we build a new nation for the master race in the fertile lands of Russia. We may not forget why we are undertaking this mission. The Aryans are the chosen people, the rightful masters of humanity. While we consolidate our rule, we shall remind the members of the Brotherhood that their duties are not over simply because we are not at war for the moment. So basically, we need to get to work. So, the blood and the water match. So, tanks had rolled in to into Hungary in October and November that were from the Soviet Union, and apparently there was already issues between the USSR and the Soviet Union in terms of the water polo match. Incidentally enough, because like they had been using their like political influence to kind of copy the Hungarians, because the Hungarians were apparently like master water polo players. So the Hungarians had been outside of the city training when outside of Budapest when the Hungarian Revolution gets cracked down. So they were like up in the mountains and they can literally see smoke rising from Budapest. So they end up having to like go into the Czech Republic, or excuse me, Czechoslovakia to flee. They didn't really know what was happening because I like the players themselves. And so then this was in November. The Olympics is in December, so they get flown down to Australia. And once they get to Australia, they actually start to get news and they find out what's happening. And it's not like they could boycott because they're already in the city. Well, I guess they plausibly could have, but they wanted to like get some measure of revenge. So they're like, we're playing for our whole country. And so like they end up having this match, which was like a crazy match because apparently they had the boxing in that same building right before the water polo match started. So everybody was already there because they were watching this Hungarian boxer. And so there was like this raucous Hungarian crowd watching them fight against the USSR. And they end up they decimate the team. They ended up winning 4-1, but excuse me, 4-0. They shut out the Soviets. And so then one of the Soviets during the game punched a Hungarian player, and like he had just come out of the water and he had his blood. He was like bleeding all over his face and was getting the water, and so that's how it gets the name Blood in the Water match. So this dude at the conference was talking about it. We have liberated many Aryans. We will launch campaigns to educate Aryans on their own superiority. So this will increase our party popularity. So the dude at the council was did a story about it, and I don't know how else to say this. He just wasn't a good presenter, and he didn't make it too terribly interesting. Hold on a second. Caring for Your Child by Guntram Wagner. If you are reading this, you are no doubt a proud citizen of the Reich in search of guidance in the quest for purity in thought as well as being. As your Führer, it is my solemn duty to ensure that you are all living the lifestyle a good Aryan should, no matter your background or occupation. The purpose of this particular pamphlet is to lay bare the secrets of raising a popular Aryan child. Indeed, you may think that your blood alone is more than enough to ensure your place in our society, but this is not true. The secret to achieving Aryanhood lies in the mind as well as the body. The key to ensuring our Reich's future is secured is to know how to shape your children into true Aryans, a people worthy of claiming the legacy I have built. Section 1. The early years. From the moment of their birth, the child must be immersed in activities that will ensure their minds are focused on matters of race and people from the very start. This will not only build a sense of racial consciousness in the most absorbent phase of the child's development, but it will make the next section much easier. It is well known that the easiest way to learn a language is when one is young, so what better time to teach your child Deutsch than right now? For those who are still learning this glorious tongue, take care not to speak Russian around your child. This generation absolutely must be the first to speak Deutsch as a first language, cementing our Aryan legacy for centuries to come. Now, as for hammering in the natural roles of one's gender. Words to live by. Yeah, I know, Franco, he really getting got. That is some serious simpage. I didn't even think about that they would want to change their root language. Wow. So, do they only speak German in the council meetings? Like, that's the first question that comes to my mind. You know, is this because Russia's done this sort of thing before? They've attempted, you know, Peter the Great. He was getting into the French, and I know that Wagner has said that that's one of his inspirations was Peter the Great. So I don't know. It's it's interesting. It's interesting. So decisions. I think we're gonna start doing these integrations. You know what? Let's get up to 75, like we were gonna do before. We're gonna save up and just do 3 at a time because I really don't like the daily political power gain loss. I know it kind of all net works out the same way, but it does kind of all network out the same way. No, it's because of the stability too also, so I want to have the highest stability for as long as possible. In fact, maybe we should save up to 100 so we could just do 4 at once. Accent says, CHG in Bolivia's focus tree, there will be something like 5 political paths, ranging from siding with Germany, Japan, military dictatorship, to socialist and even democratic. I will make the events very fun. Well, that's what it's, that's what we're here to do, you'd think, in a video game, is have fun. Oh, Rite of Ascension. Yes. Yes, gives the man power. Yes. Who needs integration? Revitalize national service programs. What's the... I forget. Where's the thing that increases our stability? Do we have something for that? No. So we just got to keep taking freaking stability hits forever. Anyway, the main reason I remember that dude's presentation is because, frankly, I thought it wasn't very good. I'm sure he's a nice guy. Actually, funnily enough, I ended up sitting next to him at graduation. Turned out he also was a military dude in his past. But then he wasn't even going to go into history. Anyway, never mind. So, I got a little distracted. So, there were 3 judges, and everybody gave their presentations, and the way it would work is like you would give your presentation, you'd also kind of give them some papers if they needed references for something, just like 1 or 2 pages sort of thing. And I gave my presentation, and one thing that annoyed me is, I swear to God this is fucking true, one of the 3 judges started fucking with her phone while I was giving my presentation. So anyway, they went away and went to go talk, and then the rest of us were just like, I think they had snacks. We're all just hanging out and waiting for them to come back so we can find out who's going to have won. And they spent a long time deliberating. In fact, so long that the guy who was the head of the conference, who incidentally had been my professor that semester, he goes in to check on him, and he comes back and he says, I'm sorry, they're taking a long time because they're like really arguing about some of these. And so they came back and they said, okay, here's going to be who our top 3 were. 3rd place was the guy who did the Blood in the Water 1956 Olympics story / Hungarian Revolution one. And I swear this is true. And the first thing I thought was, oh my God, I got 2nd place. Because there was somebody else who actually had been a classmate of mine. He did a very good presentation, basically about this like native tribe that lives on the border between the United States and Mexico. he was a really good, great student. Like actually, funnily enough, his mother was the head of the entire history department at the time at my university. But this wasn't like a nepotism thing. Like, he actually was very good, which makes sense. Like, if your brother's a history professor, he probably, you know, got that shit by osmosis his whole life. Anyway, so the guy who did the Hungarian thing gets third place, and I thought I got second place because I'm figuring this other dude for sure is getting first. I was very impressed with his presentation, and then the other guy, the one who I thought was amazing, they say he gets second, and I think, holy crap, did I win? Because I couldn't believe it, because it's like, because I was like, and I wasn't thinking of it in like an egotistical way. I was thinking of it in a way like, I thought, like, I don't know how to think about my own shit, you know, and I was like, I thought I did good. I tried to do the best I can. All right, we're gonna work on some agriculture now. Wait a minute. No, the blood, right? Yeah, because it's gonna give us a little more stability. And we're going to get that political power. The sooner the better. So I think, holy crap, I actually won. And then first place ends up being this other woman who like, she had done a very good presentation. I didn't think it was better than good guy number 2, who was my co-classmate. But it was very good, and I can totally understand why she got first. And the thing was, so my girlfriend had actually come to watch me at the conference, and I have a girlfriend at the time, and she was right next to me, and she literally just blurts out, I didn't tell her to do this, she goes, "What? You didn't win?" And it's just like, oh my god, you just said that out loud and everybody heard you. That makes me look insane. But it was just like, you know what? They made their you know, it was the judge's call, whatever. And, you know, she was going to take me out to breakfast afterwards anyway, and we did do that. But here was the thing. I was fine with it. What was my presentation on? Oh, my presentation was about... okay, this is going to sound complicated. My presentation was on how the United States has historically viewed the U.S. war with Mexico. So, like, the historiography of the U.S. war with Mexico. I'm very proud of the work I did on that, actually, still, to this day. It's one of the better papers I've ever done, if I do say so myself. Anyway, so the judges had, like, filled out papers for everybody, you know, while they were figuring out what they wanted to do, and it was like a little thing for themselves where they were rating us on various things from 1 to 10, and they also put notes in there so that everybody can improve in the future. So they gave me my papers, and then the 2 of us left to go get breakfast. She drove, so I was going through them. And so the 3 judges had 3 papers. First paper, the professor gave me a 10 out of 10. And I was really happy with that because that was actually the professor who was the head of the honors program. I don't know if he still is. Actually, I ran into him at a bar one time. That's another funny story. But anyway, he gives me 10 out of 10 on everything. He loved my presentation. I'm like, nice. Then I go to the second one. And then that person gave me a 9.5. And you know what? That was the right call because the reason why they took some points away. And here's why. So I had also had a friend, just like, not my girlfriend, a friend who had come by. I had mentioned that I was doing the conference, and he had ended up having time, so he kind of like spontaneously showed up. And he said, "So what the heck are you presenting anyway?" Like before the conference started. And I explained to him, well, it's about the U.S. war with Mexico and like in historical memory. And he goes, "Okay, what does historical memory mean?" And I explained it to him in like 30 seconds. And he goes, "Oh, okay." And I should have fucking put that in my presentation. Like, you don't take that shit for granted. And sure enough, the half a point that the second judge had taken away was because I did not define the term historical memory in my presentation, which, you know, would have taken no time at all. Honest mistake. I deserved to get marked down for that. Then I look at the third judge. This is paper. She gives me, I think, like a 5.5 or a 6 out of 10, like overall. And then she writes, "Oh my god, look at the divine mandate go, guys. Wow. Very interesting stuff." So we've got the Workers' Federation that's kind of split up here. We've got the Ural military dictatorship here under Batov. And now we've got, you know, Russian Jesus on the far east. Oh, uh-oh. What's happening? Ah! Kind of froze there for a second. All right, the soil. Actually, do I want to do the soil or do I want to do some of this other stuff? Just give me a second here. I want to see what the Aryan Slav thing does. Well, I kind of want to see what these both do. You know what? Let's knock both of these top things up, and then we'll come down here. So, soil time. So anyway, what she basically told me is she was saying, let's see, Franco Bertoni, how long was the paper or essay? Oh, it was over 20 pages. This was, this particular thing I was presenting was basically, it was my senior thesis. So, like, yeah, it was over 20 pages long. Anyway, but that was, like, for history. I don't know what you're learning in history, in university, Franco, but, like, I don't know, like, history students are second only to, like, English and literature students for how much they read and write, so I'm sure whatever your major is, you're not going to have to write something over 20 pages long at the end of your college career. Okay, yeah, we're still saving up to get to 100 political power. So the third judge, she basically knocks off almost half of my points because she says I did not explain the references, for, like, textbooks that I was using, like, basically the sources materials. And I was thinking, I fucking passed those out to all of you judges, just like everybody else did. And I also then cited several of the textbooks that I was using for my study in my presentation. And of course, this was the judge that was fucking around with her phone. So I just thought, you took away almost half my points because you weren't fucking paying attention. And that's probably why I didn't get in the top 3, which is like, there goes my money, you know, and stuff. Yeah, it was just, what the F? That actually got me pissed. Before I was like, hey, you know, I lost. But then I saw it's like, because this one stupid judge. You know what? There was something different about her, too. I'm trying to remember what it was. I think she was a history professor, or maybe she wasn't. Was she, like, government or something? But I just remember, when they were introducing the 3 of them, even before, like, at the start of the conference, there was something different about her in particular. So it's like, okay, he liked me, she liked me, the second woman didn't, like, what the, and it's like, I don't, it really pissed me off, that moment. Okay, so, the divine mandate of Serbia has unified the Russian Far East, a land of godly contradiction. That's pretty amazing, especially because I was saying earlier, it's my understanding that the divine mandate of Serbia is one of the most difficult Russian warlords to, although would you really call him a warlord? We'll call him a warlord, to play, because, you know, they start a year and a half later than everybody else. Okay, Ongel, I'm just calling you Ongel for short. I once did an essay on Indian Ocean slave trade. Turns out my professor got her PhD on the subject. I thought I would get grilled, but she gave me a 10 out of 10. That's kind of like is it going to be one thing or another when you're doing a subject that your professor knows very well? Yeah, are they going to, like, tear it down because they know it much better than you and you're going to be wrong about something, or are they going to enjoy it because, like, it's a subject they like? Hey there, William. So the main thing that you missed is we are now on the road to Hyperborea. I think we're going to turn into that once we do the Clash of Gods down here. Also, the Ural military districts have unified those Ural areas. The Serbian Workers' Federation has been broken up, but it just looks like they're just all sitting there not doing anything. And then Russian Jesus over here has managed to win the East. Let's see, you're studying your MA in history right now. It's an immense amount of writing. Oh yeah, baby. Oh yeah. Our race is in a precarious position. We are foreigners in our own homeland. The Slavs, Tatars, Bashkirs, and all the other slave nations that infest our nation vastly outnumber us. We have debated how to how to deal with this issue. The subhumans who still have some measure of influence will be liquidated and the threat they pose ended. Let's see here. So, yeah, for example, the writing, sometimes it's big, long papers, but really what kills you, what just eats up your time, is when you have lots of short papers. Did I say Serbia again? Sorry, I'm kind of telling fast. Blah, 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 blah. What can I say? I'm not a rapper. So I keep saying Serbia. I'm so sorry. Tip of the tongue, the teeth, and the lips. Okay, let's start coring some areas. Just doing the first 4 there. So then, look at that. Yeah, that basically destroys our political power growth when we're doing 4 at once. That's what I was afraid of. Also, the stability loss, of course. So... Yeah, hold on, wait. There's a lot of stuff going on in the chat. Franco says, I'm studying international relations. Longest shit I did was a 15-page essay on the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict. Took some source from the thesis of a Canadian university. It was over 100 pages. Oh yeah, theses, like a final master thesis, is basically a book that you write. Patrick says, I'm a freshman. Writing papers is kind of terrifying. You know, in some ways that fear never goes away. Like you're putting your shit out there, and you're gonna get judged on it. You know, it kind of never goes away. I'm sure there's like, you know, historians have written a dozen books and they still get that feeling. I watched a telesermon from Alexander Men called Eternal Questions, Very Eloquent Man. Really? Let me look this up. Alexander Men. What do you call it? Eternal Questions? Eternal Questions. Oh, look at that. It's like a little bit over 10 minutes long. I might have to check that out sometime. It's got subtitles. That's good. It's from the 80s. So yeah, the things that'll kill you is when you end up having to do 1,000 million. You mean a billion? Come on, game, get it together. So I remember I once was taking this class on World War I, and in addition to 2 midterm papers we had to do and a final paper, we were doing weekly papers that were like 2 to 4 pages in length. But, you know, just think about how much that adds up. So, like, let's simplify. Let's say 4 months in a semester, right? 4 weeks in a month, even though, you know, it's really kind of 4 and change, so you end up doing more. But that's 16 papers. If you did minimum 2 pages, which really 2 to 4 pages meant do 3 or 4, because it's like, if you just do 2, there's going to be a little space at the bottom or whatever. So let's say you did 2, like somehow you got to the very, very bottom of the second page, completely filled that second one up, and didn't do a single word more to get you onto the third page. That's 32 pages of writing, in addition to everything else you have to do. And that's if you're doing the bare minimum. And then again, there was a midterm 1 paper, a midterm 2 paper, and then a final paper. So it seriously adds up. So that class was actually really, I think that was really, really good for me, that particular one, because it taught me, like, I gotta know a subject and I gotta be able to crank something out on it quick. You know, fast turnaround periods. So it was kind of like I was somebody who was a marathon runner who was having to learn how to do sprints. You know what it was kind of like? It was like, has anybody ever seen the movie Seabiscuit? Great movie. That was a great year for movies, by the way. All sorts of amazing films. So there's a part in the movie when they're training Seabiscuit, because it's about a horse. And they're trying to. Oh wow! I like that blue. Boris Yeltsin, what? What is happening? Victory for democracy, indeed. Okay, okay. Are we gonna go full privatized Siberian Republic? Wow. And you're welcome, Bomber Monkey, by the way. So, anyway, so there's a part in the movie where they're trying to teach him how to sprint out of the gate, because usually he breaks late. So what they do is they get a bell, like the starting bell, and they would ring it, and they'd have him run just the straightaway part of the track, and then they'd stop, because like, so he was trained to, you know, okay, I'm gonna do like a lap or maybe more. And so they would just stop after he did like those first 100 yards, and then they'd bring him back to the starting line, ring the bell, and sprint him again. And they were trying to teach the horse to, you've got to just sprint. You have to sprint immediately. You need to stop like breaking late. You need to go hard immediately. Yeah. Oh, geez. Yeah. Yeltsin showing up is, let's just say, bringing some emotion out of the chat. Okay, what is this? My longest was this week when I finished my paper on the Finnish electoral system for the Finnish parliament. Interesting. Noob Man says, I did an essay on alcoholism in Eastern Europe and got half my points taken off due to me mentioning the Polish beer lovers party, which the teacher couldn't believe existed. Well, did you cite something? Come on, that's not fair. If you cited and proved it's real, that's not fair if the professor did that. It was during the first election since they had no threshold, so any party can get in. Wow, that kind of sounds like, well, actually there does need to be a threshold for that, so it's not exactly the same, but I remember a few years ago, or it might have been, I don't know, some time ago, England was doing one of their, or the United Kingdom was doing a census, and there was this movement to get people to write down heavy metal, because if they had a certain percentage, then the United Kingdom would have to officially recognize they would officially have to recognize heavy metal as a religion, which it kind of is in the United Kingdom. It's the home of Lemmy, and I would consider Lemmy heavy metal. I've heard metal bands that call themselves metal that are much softer than Lemmy was in Motorhead. All right, now we're going to officially begin teaching German. Yes. Yep. Members of the Brotherhood Officers Corps took it upon with a K. Nice. Learn German as a sign of admiration. Trend quickly caught on. There are many fluent speakers already within our race. Yep. So, sounds like the formal council meetings are in German. Gosh, I love this blue, though. Terrific color. Terrific. Let's see. Who used Wikipedia as a source on a college paper? Who did that? Yes, you did, but it was Wikipedia. Oh, dude, no. I'm sorry, bro, but you had that coming, bro. You never use Wikipedia as a source. And you know what? I used to tell people, well, you go to Wikipedia, and then you find out what the source they use is, and then you use that. But you don't want to always do that. In fact, you want to almost never do that, because what ends up sometimes happening is somebody will and this does happen. There's actually a term for it. It's not called a feedback loop. There's a more technical term. But where, okay, let's say you're somebody writing an article for a newspaper or whatever, and you need background information on something. So you go on the internet and you read something on Wikipedia that somebody just posted. And then you write your article, and it gets published. And because you're a newspaper, for example, you don't need to have footnotes or whatever, but it gets through your editor's like, you know what, I trust you, get it done. So you publish it. Then somebody on Wikipedia is looking at this article, and they see somebody made a claim on something, and they go, well, is that true? And so they look it up, and then they find your newspaper article, and then they use that as the source. So now that's been verified as something that's true, because it's a newspaper source, but it's not. It's lies. And that's just one example of it. But yeah, the only thing Wikipedia is good for, well, there's two things Wikipedia is good for. Number one, I will admit, they do tend to have good pictures, high quality ones. So there is that. And even if you do an image search, you usually get brought back to Wikipedia anyway. Number two is they are good to read if you want to see what, for lack of a better word, normal, or I should say your average person thinks about something. I don't know, let me pull up a relatively controversial character. Let me look up JFK's Wikipedia page, right? So if I read the preamble, I guess you could say, for JFK, let's see, I'm gonna try to find something that's not a fact, some sort of opinion on him. Okay, yeah, him saying he served in the Navy, that's not an example of something. Let me see here. Okay, final line in JFK's Wikipedia intro part. Despite his truncated presidency, Kennedy ranks highly in polls of U.S. presidents with historians and the general public. His personal life has been the focus of considerable sustained interest following public revelation. Okay, so yeah, that second sentence not so much, but let's see, that's using polls. Okay, maybe JFK is a bad example. Let me use a more controversial figure. You know what? Let's go with somebody really bad, or who's somebody who. You know what? Let's go with Stalin. Plenty of people who both love and hate Stalin. Or no, better yet, Porfirio Diaz. Porfirio Diaz is a really contentious figure. He's the definition of well, anyway. Okay, veteran of the War of Reform. Okay. So this is on Porfirio Diaz, full name Jose de la Cruz Porfirio Diaz Mori. Who so for those of you who don't know, he was the president of Mexico for roughly 30 years ish. And he's kind of controversial because it's one of those things that he gets just like, oh, Porfirio Diaz, he brought Mexico into the new age, like he modernized it in his time. And it's like, okay, but if he was so great, wasn't the revolution against him? You know? So, so like if I could read something here from his, I've got his Wikipedia page up here. So, it says here, his regime brought order and progress, ending political turmoil and promoting economic development. Diaz and his allies comprised a group of technocrats known as científicos, aka scientists. His economic policies largely benefited his circle of allies, as well as foreign investors, helped a few wealthy estate-owning haciendos acquire huge areas of land, leaving rural campesinos unable to make a living. In later years, these policies grew unpopular. Oh, okay, so actually it does start to go into it there. But like, if you just took that initial sentence, which I guess that's not fair because context is everything, there's a whole paragraph, but are you guys kind of getting the sense, Jack says, don't say Diaz, I will throw my shoe at you. Yeah, so like, he's divisive. And of course, this is the intro thing, so who knows, though, like, you know, maybe if you go further down into the article, you know, you're going to start seeing it's probably going to lean one way or the other. Most likely. Look, Wikipedia is perfectly fine for if you want to get a base fundamental knowledge of something, I guess. That over, like, if you want to know what most people would think is true. It probably is. You know, Wikipedia, I'm sure, is mostly right. But it's just not the same as, like, you know, peer-reviewed, hard-published things and whatnot. Yeah, Diaz is like the quintessential progressive dictator. He's like, who would I compare him to? He's like he's a dictator, he's authoritarian, but he's a reformer. I don't know, maybe you could, who could I compare him to? It's almost like a Bismarck figure. You know, Bismarck did things that you could see as socialist, maybe, for lack of a better term, but he's a reformer. He did things to improve the lives of you know, the German citizens. Same thing with Mexico, and Porfirio Diaz. Let's see. Franco says, "Wow, a biased Latin American politician Wikipedia. That's inaccurate. Covered me surprised." Oh yeah, Perón. Yeah, that's another example. Well, I'm trying not to go too recent with some of them. I shouldn't have even done JFK. So like Porfirio Diaz, his reign ended in 1911. After he was defeated by the forces of Maduro. So the Mexican Revolution is like, whew, that is. Don't even get me started on the Mexican Revolution. Like, you're never going to see a video game of what was going on in Mexico during the Revolution because, like, the KKK gets it. Like, the phrase I've always used is the Mexican Revolution is like the Finnegan's Wake of revolutions. Because, like, the KKK shows up at one point, and there's interventions from these different countries, and, like, you've got all these branches. And usually in revolutions, you see the left splitting, but you've got the right splitting as well, and it's madness, absolute madness. Okay, we could do another couple of things right now, but I think that would then put me into negative political power. Screw it, let's just do two more, or get two more going, and then after that we're going to save up for 100 again. Russell V. Long presidency for TNO win. I don't know, I don't think Long had presidential ambitions. I don't think he would have ever been nationally popular enough to do that. Like, Huey Long was more popular nationally than Russell Long was. Russell Long is very much a senator of the South. Anyway, yeah, so freaking the Mexican Revolution, when that happens, Porfirio Diaz is not chased out of the country by the revolutionaries like Benito Juarez or Zapata or Pancho Villa or anything like that. Did I say Benito Juarez? Wow, that's like 100 years off. Never mind. I meant, like, you know, it's not like a Zapata or a Pancho Villa or something that throws Porfirio Diaz out. He goes into exile because he's defeated by Maduro, or Francisco Madero, who was a rich guy. He was in a state order. It's got one of the funniest wiki pages. What does? What's got a funny wiki page? Russell Long or what? But like here, I'll here I am using Wikipedia, but yeah, let's look at just the chart of this. Look, you can see, yeah, Porfirio Diaz is now highlighted because I was looking at his. But as you can see, no purple links. I'm not a Wikipedia guy. But again, it could be useful for just kind of getting the base things. But look at this. Look at this ridiculousness. The result, this is like a pseudo timeline, I guess. Porfirio Diaz ousted from power, 1911. Maduro becomes the president in 1911, is assassinated in 1913. Also, Huerta is overthrowing Maduro in 1314. Carranza creates an alliance of Northerners. Notice that we have not heard anything from, like, Pancho Villa or anyone yet. There's the Constitutional Army in 1915, because, the new president consolidates his power in 1915. There's a constitution enacted in 1917. The revolution wasn't over yet. When the Constitution gets enacted. Even the freaking United States, they did the Declaration of Independence to start the war. Well, the war was already ongoing, you could argue. The revolution was ongoing, but they waited for years after the freaking American Revolution, is in a military sense, ends before they actually make the Constitution. Yes, I know there was the Articles of Confederation, but I hope you guys understand my point. So, yeah, and then it just says here, look, like in this little thing here, the first time you see Zapata or Pancho Villa or Obregon is when it's mentioning that they're getting assassinated. And then look at the belligerents. There's a timeline of how they switch back and forth. The Maderistas are over here, but then they become mainstream. There's the Zapatistas. Zapatistas are here, but then they're over here. Look, United States gets involved, Germany gets involved, the United Kingdom gets involved. Look at the commanders and leaders. So many of them died. So many of them were assassinated. The strength of the revolutionary and the counter-revolutionary forces, I don't know how anybody could ever accurately depict this, because, there was flipping back and forth, and that doesn't even, and there's so much more. Look at this, yeah. Look at all these battles that happened. And this is just, the freaking Wikipedia. There's not stuff. I wonder if they have the picture in here, actually. There's this beautiful picture, because of the context of it, where you see Pancho Villa, who some of you may know because Pershing chased him into Mexico. The United States initially supported Pancho Villa. And there is this picture. Oh, yes, it's here. It's beautiful. Check this out. There is Pancho Villa here, alongside Obregon on the left. And yes, you believe your eyes, Virginia, that is none other than General Pershing, who becomes famous for chasing Pancho Villa into Mexico. This happens in 1914. Yeah, this is like, to me, this is how I always compare it. This is like the Mexican Revolution equivalent of that picture, if you've ever seen it, of when Donald Rumsfeld is shaking hands with Saddam Hussein. It's a crazy, crazy revolution. Anyway, let's close that and get back to the game, shall we? Now, actually, funny thing about... Now you got me talking about the revolution. When I said, like, I wouldn't talk about it because it gets too crazy. So... There's two art museums in El Paso, two main ones. There used to be the International Museum of Art. Well, it's still there, and they had a really good collection. And then eventually the El Paso City Museum was created. And long story short, they ended up taking some of the exhibits from the International Museum of Art. The ownership transferred, and the International Museum of Art has never forgiven them for this. So they hate the City Museum, which incidentally I think is probably the best museum in El Paso. I'd probably say it's like them and the Holocaust Museum here are both excellent museums, which I recommend to anybody who's into museums to visit when they come here. Although it's kind of hard to say, oh yeah, I recommend the Holocaust Museum, because it's like, hey, you want to go get depressed? Want to go get sad? Go check that out. Yeah, there you go. This movie is dedicated to the brave revolutionaries of Mexico. I've not seen the real-life pictures of Guntram Wagner posted on Reddit. That's not really my scene. Reddit, that is. So anyway, the International Museum of Art, when you go there now, first off, you got to pay to get in, which nobody likes to do with a museum, because it's a private museum. But they've got a lot of interesting things there. For example, they have like an area that's like dedicated to African art and stuff like that. Yeah. Poor Mexico, so far from God, so close to the United States. Amazing quote. That is everyone in El Paso knows that quote. Whether you agree with it or not, but like the sentiment's sure there. So anyway, the last time I went to the International Museum of Art, because they're always moving things around, and so they have a lot of just, I don't know how else to say it, they're just random exhibits. So there'll like be some like tribal African art in one area. They've got an Egyptian exhibit area, which is actually pretty good, but nobody wants to see it because people go to museums where they see reflections of themselves. And an ancient Egypt exhibit, while somebody like you or I might find that very interesting because we're history nerds, your average El Pasoan's is frankly not going to give a crap about ancient Egypt stuff. They're not going to care about tribal African art. It doesn't affect their lives. It's not their personal culture. I'm sorry, that's just how it is. I don't like it. That's how it is. It's a fact. It is... Anyway. But the last time I went, they had set up in the basement and this was years ago, admittedly. I haven't gone there in a long time because, it's not free. But they had set up in the basement a Mexican Revolution exhibit, and everything was crammed into this basement room. Like, it's literally covering every inch of the walls. There's no negative space at all. But there was all sorts of great stuff down there. There was good exhibits. There was good photos, good like images, good context given. And I just thought, and I remember I was talking to a guy who was there, and I said, "You guys," and it's like talking to a brick wall, saying like, "You need to drop the International Museum of Art thing." Because it's not an art, like, sorry, dude, the City Museum is better. That's just how it is. You got cooed. Tough titty, kitty. That's the world. But I say, like, you should convert yourselves into the Museum of the Mexican Revolution. We're here in El Paso. We're right on the border. Obviously, you have access to a lot of great sources and stuff, but you've already got this amazing base. Instead of just cramming this whole goddamn exhibit into your basement, spread it out over the course of the entire museum. You can have different rooms for different periods of the Mexican Revolution. You can give context, you can give tours, and people are going to be really, really into it. Hey, Kitnar, I'm trying to let your link go through, but YouTube's not letting me do it. I don't know why. I'm gonna try posting it myself. Okay, there. Yeah, so this is what the link a Kittner found. Anyway, so yeah, I think a museum of the Mexican Revolution in El Paso, Texas, could be very successful amongst the local population and also people who were passing through town. But I don't know. I don't think they're going to do it. In fact, let's see. What are they up to these days? Probably still closed. It's going to be closed. Everything's been closed. All the museums. But, they didn't want to hear me. Let's see. Yeah, you see, when you type in International Museum of Art, El Paso, Texas, the regular El Paso Museum of Art shows up. It's kind of messed up. I do feel bad for them. Okay. Let's see, playing based Russia number 146797432. I see. Well, it's a... Unifying Russia doesn't happen in a day. Are we in negative political power right now, Gain? No, we're, oh, no, yeah, we're going to be as soon as we keep taking focuses. Alright, what's going to give me some real quick? I guess let's expand the definition of Aryan first, because this is very important. As difficult as it is for many in the Brotherhood to accept, it has become clear that the lines between races are not as defined as we once thought. While there are countless Slavs who display the weakness and cowardice that marks them as Untermensch, there are many others that display the resilience and motivation we thought was only found among the master race. The Brotherhood used to explain this phenomenon by saying that Slavs demonstrating Aryan characteristics were either actually Aryans that had been indoctrinated by the subhumans, or Slavs attempting to deceive the Übermensch by imitating them. As our reach has expanded, we have encountered increasing numbers of proud Slavs displaying the qualities we expect from Brotherhood members. Schultz and his supporters have put forth an explanation for this bizarre phenomenon. It is possible to be both Slavic and Aryan. This goes completely against the established beliefs of the Brotherhood, but if it is true, it could pave the way to our salvation. If the Slavic peoples can be convinced to embrace Aryanism as part of their heritage, the master race will finally have full control of Russia. We must expand our criteria for Aryanism to allow those Slavs worthy of the title to earn their spot among our ranks. Let's see here. This is a cursed timeline for Africa. I think Africa's always cursed in this particular timeline. But Hutig got his hat to cover his hair. His terrible hair. Look, there's Zimbabwe. There's one black leader, Robert Mugabe, huh? He seems like a cool guy. You have to finish your SBA run before the hotfix drops tonight. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Or you could just go offline. That's what I'm doing, so the hotfix doesn't break it. I'm actually probably only going to play for another 10 minutes because I want to do another live stream later tonight. I think I have to make a couple of phone calls, actually, and we're going to determine what's going on. But hopefully I will. Let's see. Have I ever heard of Yad Vashem? And there, the only people who can guide there are Yad Vashem guides alone. Yes, I have indeed heard of it. I used to be a docent at the El Paso Holocaust Museum, so we absolutely have heard of Yad Vashem. Now, we primarily would take our cues from the U.S. Holocaust Museum, but Yad Vashem, of course, was definitely somebody who we would look to as well in terms of content. But of course, we would take the U.S. Holocaust Museum's cues first because Yad Vashem is different. Obviously, it's in Israel. That's a very different perspective, much more. I don't know how you would define what would be the right term, but it's very different when you have a museum about the Holocaust when you're in the state of Israel than if you're just a different country talking about the Holocaust as an event. Just like, if there was a museum to the Khmer Rouge's genocide in Cambodia, a museum discussing that in Cambodia itself would be very different than one that was about it in, like, India. Yeah. Did y'all not know that Mugabe was in this mod? Yeah, there he is. Expand the definition of Aryan. So we're done there. So we're going to now do the way to freedom as well. So let me look at this modifier. Did we get it? The Aryan Slav recruitable population goes up by 2%. War support is down by 2.5%. And we're now in negative political power, guys. That's just freaking great, isn't it? The way to freedom. As difficult as it is, we must face facts. There are too many of the Undermensch to be enslaved, and not enough of the Ubermensch to serve as masters. Trying to force a slave society onto Russia would only be repeating the mistakes of the Tsars and the Bolsheviks. Our Aryan government cannot be allowed to collapse as those regimes did. The entire fate of our bloodline depends upon the Brotherhood securing a permanent home for the race in Russia. As long as there are slaves, there is a risk of uprising. As long as there are risks of uprising, our people will never be safe. Schultz has drafted a plan that would put an end to enslavement and allow the current slaves to work their way to freedom over the next few years. While it is far from the ideal system the Fuhrer first envisioned so many years ago, it will maintain the superior position of the master race in our society, while also allowing for even a modicum of long-term stability. It seems that at least for the moment, this is all that we can hope for. Mugabe. Bottom text. Yeah, Pol Pot. Yeah, let all the inflation talk has begun. Who is out here? Bao Dai. Dai Viet Quoc Dan Dang. No Vietnamese focus tree. Yeah. Okay. Whoa, excuse me. Water went down the wrong pipe. Excuse me. Woo! Well, we got Christmas coming up. Kind of really snuck up on me. I've been so damn busy. I gotta still finish up some gifts I'm giving friends, but it's because some of the stuff I'm making is gonna be handmade and can go bad. So I need to do it like practically on Christmas, and then I think I'm gonna get Christmas Day off. No guarantees. And then I'm gonna like just drive around and drop it off with them and stuff. See if she drowns live on stream. Yeah, the money supply has gone up 20% in a single year. Guys, this is the lesson of 2020. If you don't have money, you print more money. That's just it. That's science. Money supply has gone up 20% in a single year. So does that mean that my money, personal money, went up 20%? Like, has everybody in the United States now got 20% more money? Is that how that works? Is the Aryan Brotherhood still simping? We are in a transitional period away from simping toward self-respect. Hubertius. Yeah. Dread it. Dread it. Run from it. Mugabe Zimbabwe still arrives. I heard there might be another round of stimulus checks coming out. I'm not planning on receiving any of that. Who knows? Just I didn't even spend the first one that came in. And it was lucky that I got it. That's a whole long story. But yeah, I'm not anticipating getting any of that. I know people who never got it, never received the first one, even though they were supposed to be eligible. The first stimulus check was just objectively a mess, and it has pissed... It's one of those things that... There's a lot of things that the left and the right have got to be pissed off about. So, like, for example, I'm constantly saying that the governor of Texas, our current governor, Greg Abbott, and I'm not saying how I personally feel about him, but he has got to be so thankful every single day that he was not up for re-election this year, because he would have been absolutely slaughtered. Because everybody has hated him this year. He's pissed everybody off. Okay. Wait. Can you hear the sirens? It's probably another death. Since I live in the Triple C. But like the mayor of El Paso, pretty popular dude, pissed everybody off on the left and right, and he just lost his re-election campaign. He only got like 16% of the vote. Insane. In a one-on-one contest. I guess it doesn't really matter which of these I do then, does it? But a wonderful reward. This will help population growth. I guess let's do that. We cannot simply admit every Slav of the Brotherhood and announce them an Aryan overnight. It's been infected by the Asiatic races. We have to purge non-Aryan elements of the culture. We will purge of decadence first. Let's see, yeah. That's funny, Fortune and Glory. Christmas Day off, my employer, Ebenezer Scrooge, said that such a thing was neither convenient or fair when I asked for it. The Christmas Carol. Did anybody ever see the Flintstones Christmas Carol? I really liked that one. I wonder if that's just on YouTube now or something. I know there's a lot of old Christmas specials that are just on YouTube for free. A lot of movies, really. Like my parents were watching, it was my mother's birthday recently. She's a December baby. I was over at their place recently just having dinner and giving her her present. And when I came over, they were watching a Christmas movie that was just on YouTube for free. That one that we all like. So that was cool. Of course, there were ads, but, you know, small price to pay, right? What do I want to do here? I'm debating doing armor. I really am. I forgot. Did I ever end up starting building some tanks? Or was that a fever dream? You know what? We're gonna do it, guys. Oh, yeah. It's epic time. Epic tank time, y'all. We're gonna try it. Christmas Carol Bridge. I think Christmas Carol Bridge is more like, you didn't used to suck, you now suck, you're probably always gonna suck if you don't change. Star Wars Holiday Party Watch Special. Would you guys want to do something like that? Do a watch thing? Where, like, I don't know, we kind of coordinate watching something together in a stream? Would you go, like, on Christmas Day or something? right now I have no Christmas Day plans. I don't want to get into it right now, but last Christmas was possibly the worst day of my entire life. And I don't just mean that like I didn't get a present I wanted. I don't want to get into it, but basically, something last Christmas, on actual Christmas Day, basically my whole life fell apart. Yeah, pretty much most of my like let me put it this way, my last Christmas started a chain of events that when the lockdowns happened in Texas in March, I was actually really happy about it because it put a pause on my life so it could quit falling apart for a minute, you know. So I don't know, maybe it's, you know what, with COVID and especially living in the Triple C, I don't exactly have any plans other than I might go see my parents. Yeah, I'm probably gonna just go to my parents and we'll have like dinner or something, but that's it. So yeah, and I've been debating for a while doing a Christmas thing with y'all because I know a lot of people are they're not even gonna be able to see their parents for Christmas, for one reason or the other. I'll tell you, it's one of those things that, like, however you feel about COVID, the response to it, the fact of the matter is there are some people who are really suffering. One of the things I've been doing is I've been delivering to a lot of nursing homes on my postal route, and yeah, it's really sad. Can't even go into, like, I can't even deliver packages to a lot of them's doors because, you know, they're seriously vulnerable. So, like, I've had times where I have to leave packages for people in a nursing home at the office, and the office is gonna, like, screen the stuff and probably disinfect it and stuff again. You're gonna work on Christmas, William? Yeah, well, holiday pay, I guess. We've got some Cyrillic showing up in the chat. But yeah, Flintstones Christmas Carol. I liked that. Or I was gonna look that up. Flintstones Christmas Carol. Yeah, that's from like 1977. I'm trying to look it up. The Bedrock Bug. Yeah. Full movie from 1977. Something tells me this isn't real. Nope, it's not. It's just like some preview streams. Where would I go if I wanted to watch that? Let's see here. Hold on, I'm looking it up. If you guys ever want to know if you could find something on a certain streaming website, justwatch.com, and then you just filter it by whatever country you live in, usually does pretty good. I could probably count on one hand the amount of times I've ever looked up something and then it says like, oh yeah, that's not available on any streaming services, and then it was somewhere else. Do helicopters? Helicopters could be fun, but I think tanks is more fitting with our simpage. The wonderful reward. Ubermensch are being inducted into the Brotherhood every day. You know, the El Paso Holocaust Museum actually has some of the, like, the medals and stuff that Germans would give mothers who had certain amounts of children. The Nazis, that is. Including, this is really interesting, a card that was sent, you know, supposedly from Hitler to a mother who had just had a child. And it's like, you know, I'm trying to remember what it says. It says something like, children are our greatest gift. You know, it's just like a congratulatory letter from Hitler. So, oh yeah, I was going to look up Flintstones. Oops. Flintstones Christmas Carol. It is streaming on Boomerang. I didn't know they had their own streaming service. I bet it costs money. Yep. It's a trial, $5. It's $5 a month. I might get a 7-day trial at some point and watch that, maybe. That could be fun. Burgundian bunkers? Yeah. Oh, bro, you don't know about Nazi Israel? Although I don't think this is Nazi Israel. They appear to be authoritarian Democrats, and they don't have a focus tree anyway, so F them. I haven't watched any Christmas stuff this year. Haven't had time to do much. Basically, if I'm not working, I've been streaming, chilling with y'all, which is nice. Don't get me wrong, but you know, not much of a thing, not much of anything this year. Oh, Fifth Crusade. Now that's what I call edgy. Freaking My Little Pony did a good Christmas Carol episode once. And Luna was Ghost of Christmas Future, which I so called when I was watching it, because I was watching it with somebody. I was like, "Oh, it's gonna be Luna for Christmas Future, for sure." Oh, do I have planes now? F to pay respects to Norway. Yeah, guys, they might have a chance. Yeah, sorry, Void. Just reading. Oh, man, that's funny. Oh, geez, I just saw the time. Okay, so, I'm probably going to call it a day there, then. So I'm going to probably live stream tomorrow. I'm going to maybe live stream again later today. We're going to use the capture card. No promises. I've got a few phone calls to make right now to determine some things. I think I'm also waiting for a phone call, which may or may not come in. So anyway, you all have yourselves a good one, and yeah, I'm for sure gonna try to. The only reason if I don't stream tomorrow is because I worked like a 14-hour day or something, but I don't think that's gonna happen. Yeah. See y'all later. Bye. Oh shoot, I'm not paused. Wait. Okay. All right. See y'all.